Now, today marks the first day of that school year, as we've been reporting, but scholars are concerned about their transport and safety as schools reopen. The Gauteng law enforcement has impounded and arrested some of the scholar transport operators already this morning. For more on the story, we're joined by Lesiba Mpya, who's the spokesperson for the Gauteng Transport MEC. A very good afternoon to you. Quite worrying that on the first day of the new academic year, there's already impounding that's happening and really just the confiscation of vehicles that are not suitable to be ferrying kids around.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the viewers. Yes, quite worrying indeed. After the break of dawn today, the MEC had gone out to the Pamrich area in Ekurhuleni, where she was basically doing a state of readiness campaign to actually ensure that those that are ferrying kids to school are actually having roadworthy vehicles, and they themselves are in a definitely good state of mind to actually ferry these kids around, only to find that we, at an operation, the MEC, together with law enforcement, impounded 13 minibus taxis, including 2 buses, which were in a not so good state of operation. A very worrying trend indeed. After the MEC would have had a successful back to school road safety campaign during the festive season, including the safety campaign when road users were making their way home.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely worrying. It is definitely worrying that stakeholders are not playing ball in keeping their vehicles roadworthy.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Mpya, maybe just to give us a sense of the conditions that some of these minibus taxis or buses were in for them to be impounded, so we can get a sense of the lack of safety that is within these vehicles that led for you to have to impound them.
Well, obviously, that is an operational matter of law enforcement. But what we've witnessed is that you find a vehicle that is in a dilapidating state, that has got tires that are not suitable to be on the road. You have one vehicle that has got an outdated disc. You have one driver that made a run for it, actually, who, when the police stopped him, he made a run for it, and upon apprehension, the man was definitely not sober. The police then arrested him, and they have gone to the police station to further make further tests of taking breathalyzer as well as the blood test. But that is the condition of road users or of operators that find themselves in, which is a definitely a compromising state, particularly when we have declared that Gauteng roads are going to be safe roads. So we are quite concerned that this morning, the first day of school, there are kids who were late for school because some operators decided not to be compliant.
And then when it comes to consequences of the impounded vehicles, Mr. Mpya, what are some of those? Are we looking at fines? Are you looking at vehicles never being returned to their owners? What exactly is the department doing in this regard when it comes to consequences and consequence management?
Yeah, look, there are different sanctioning regimes. For instance, for those vehicles that had no operating licenses, theirs is just to approach the department, actually fix that compliance component. But there are vehicles that cannot be released to the roads again because they are deathbeds. They are actually mobile coffins, and the MEC has definitely declared that she's not convinced that this vehicle is rehabilitatable, particularly ferrying people. So there are vehicles that will not definitely make it out of the pound, but there are vehicles that have got to correct their wrongs. For instance, if you have an outdated disc, the responsibility is imposed on you as an owner, as an operator, to ensure that at all material times you are compliant and your fellow road users are safe with you. So because this is a listening government, those vehicles that that are impounded, of course, there's a standard rate of releasing those vehicles. So people will be paying a fine to release the vehicles, but on condition that by the time the car leaves there, is definitely in a roadworthy state of view.
And then a final thought from you. Is the provincial department assisting with the transportation of scholars to the various schools while you deal with private transport issues? Or is that a responsibility you have not yet taken on as a department?
Look, the responsibility of transportation of kids has been taken by the Department of Learners, has been taken by the Department of Education in conjunction with the Department of Transport and Logistics. The Transport and Logistics ensures that those vehicles are definitely safe, and are reliable. And then education has a specific provision where these operators have been participating competitively in providing this particular transport. But of course, as a department, together with the schools, we will definitely ensure that those learners that have been left stranded today will not be stranded tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. But we are calling upon all the stakeholders, our taxi industry, bus operators, to please get their vehicles in good working order, and that will definitely demonstrate that we are collaborative in nature, and we are putting the people's lives first.